Joey, you've been staring at that card for like an hour. What's up?
I'll tell you, just don't laugh. Sometimes, when I'm in a duel, I pretend that it's me out there on the field swapping blows with whatever card my opponent has out. Isn't that dumb?
Well, if you were, which card would you want to be, Joey?
In Season 1, Episode 12 of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, the main gang of Joey, Tristan, Taya, Yugi, and to a lesser extent Bakura all pick their favorite cards, only to be transformed into them in the next episode. With the recent release of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duels and its amazing ban list, or lack of one, it has made me think a lot more about Yu-Gi-Oh! Recently, and a lot about that scene from the anime. Everyone has a favorite card, and when I asked my friends about their favorites, I got a large range of responses, choosing favorites because they think the art looks funny, or because the memes about the card, or that the card's all around pretty good. But come on man, we all know you use that card to stare at boobs. Who do you think you're fooling? And I thought for sure you were gonna name Ancient Gear Gold. I'm like, some even pick their favorites because they like the story the card tells of the board, or the lore that the card introduced to the archetype. And the card looks tasty. God, I hope he's talking about the dessert and not the little girl. Some even derive their favorite cards from playing games casually years ago with a cool design and amazing high roll moments, or just a staple in many decks in the past. And they also want to eat. Why do people want to eat their cards? So in the highly likely scenario where my friends and I are forced to duel in a shadow game and are forced to become our favorite cards, most of us would be fine. Yeah, one of us is a ceramic ornament now and another is a volcano, but for the most part, we're good. However, I would have to face the not so great fate of becoming a wolf being tortured and forced to cut grass for a fat goblin, and wouldn't be playable at all. Much like Bakura, my favorite card is a strange banned spell card that not many people nowadays even know about. But unlike Bakura's change of heart, my favorite card changed how Yu-Gi-Oh! Was played.
This one is my favorite.
Okay, that's cool and all, but it's been over a minute. What even is this card? That Grass Looks Greener, or just Grass, is an extremely powerful spell card that allows you to send the top cards of your deck to the graveyard until you have the same amount of cards in your deck as your opponent. In Yu-Gi-Oh! When you make a deck, you have a choice to make your deck anywhere between 48 to 60 cards. Although almost everyone chooses 40 cards, as it makes your deck the most consistent. However, Grass gave people a reason to make their deck inconsistent by diluting their draws with 20 more cards. Because if you have 60 cards and they have 40 cards and activate Grass, then you just put 20 cards into your graveyard for free. And the graveyard in Yugioh is just a second hand. This makes Grass an unhealthy card that gives a player a ton of value from one card that essentially wins the play of the game. But at the same time, it's healthy for the game, as it encourages creative deck building and self-regulates itself, as the more cards your opponent has, the less useful Grass is, being absolutely worthless in a mirror match or when your opponent attacked against you by having a 60 card deck. So a Grass meta would evolve out of itself since the card would be useless if everyone ran it. And to get the most out of this little spell card, you are forced to take a huge burden on deck building and opportunity costs. You have to make your deck inconsistent. You have to make sure that the 20 extra cards you're adding are actually good and playable and won't screw you over. And you're forced into archetypes that play from the grave. In Master Duel, you're doing all of this to your deck for only a 23% chance of getting the card that you worked your deck around. Although odds are much better if you run a tutor like Left Arm Offering. But when it goes off, that Grass Looks Greener goes off hard.
Fucking 60 deck just for Grass is Greener.
If I was a funny guy, I'd just concede. If I'm against a friend who first turns grasses, I'll play it out.
Oh my god. What the fuck just happened? This is some degenerate shit right here.
But why did I specifically say in Master Duel? Well, because Master Duel is the only format where Grass is unlimited, banned in the TCG and limited to 2 copies in the OCG. But why? Why was this great deck-defining but quite frankly overpowered card banned from Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG? For that, we have to go back to February of 2017.
No, it can't be! A Millennium item! Yes, and the magic of my Millennium Ring will take us to the Shadow Realm.
Man, I hate magic.
February 10th, 2017, Yu-Gi-Oh's new expansion Raging Tempest just came out. You open up a pack and get a strange secret rare called That Grass Looks Greener. A really weird card to say the least. Self-milling cards until you have a deck size that matches your opponent. From what you have learned and seen about Yu-Gi-Oh!, if you're playing seriously, you play with 40 cards. This strange secret rare is almost telling you to break out of that mindset and go crazy with 60. Just like the good old days at the lunch table. But no way it's good, right? You need the consistency of 40 cards to be competitive. A good meme, but this secret rare would never be good. That's what the general zeitgeist of Yu-Gi-Oh! Thought when Grass came out. Or at least what I have gathered from scavenging information in old videos and discussion forums about the card, and it's the story that the numbers tell. For a card that would become meta warping and that some people never want to see again, Grass didn't see much tournament play in its first month of existence, only being used in 34 decks total, the 77th most used card, which is good, but clearly people didn't realize the true power of Grass yet. And I have a sneaking suspicion that most of its use was at the end of the month, as in the next month of tournaments, Grass decks will almost triple in appearance, making Grass the 28th most used card in Yu-Gi-Oh! And then in the month after that, Grass would tie Artifact Lancia as the 10th most used card in Yu-Gi-Oh! If it wasn't clear before, it's clear now to the TCG that Grass is a strong card and might be a little bit of a problem. I mean, one card that basically gave a chance for 20 graveyard effects to go off is pretty insane value-wise. And I for one as a Grass enjoyer agree it's a problem. But the 40 card meta of Yu-Gi-Oh! Had been truly shaken for the first time, with people who didn't even run Grass running 60 cards in their deck just to counter it. The game had changed to the point where what was meta one month was now a liability in the next month, all because of a card that had a less than 50% chance of even being used in a game. As many people claimed, having Grass Resolve was basically GG, so it was limited to one copy later in 2017, fell off in use, then was murdered in 2018, when it was banned, killing the card forever and becoming lost to time as an obscured banned card like Chicken Game. And I never played Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever again.
If you want to see how it works, we could have a duel right now.
But that was half a decade ago. People don't even remember or know what Grass even is these days. And the amazing format known as Master Duels has it unlimited, like the glory days of 2017. Of course, things are a little bit different now in Yu-Gi-Oh! When compared to half a decade ago, but I can safely say Grass is still great. I mean, it has carried me to and through plat ranks with my strange Dino Zombie Lightstorm with a splash of a ton of other archetypes Grass deck. A far cry from the Infernoids and Zodiacs that stomped tournaments in 2017, it's still a good list facing off meta decks with general ease. My version of Grass does take a bit of skill, hand reading, bluffing, improvisation, and deck piling skill, but it's satisfying to pull off and seems good enough for consistent plat performance. But honestly, I'm pretty sure with the current meta and mindset of players in Yu-Gi-Oh!, you can climb really easy with any 60 card Grass variant of a graveyard centric deck. Just make sure you chuck in a Left On Offering and probably a few Fairy Tail Snows and you got yourself a strong deck. I mean, no one plays around Grass in deck building these days, and as long as you bait Ash and resolve Grass, it should be a free win. And if it gets banned again, Konami, I swear I'm dropping your game forever.